What's up, everyone? We are set for a big day in the markets tomorrow. We have crucial inflation data about to release, and heading into this event, we have stocks flying to the upside. Looking at the heat map from today, we can see that it was another mostly green day with a lot of stocks breaking out in a good, positive way. Apple was up nearly 4% today alone. Amazon was up a little over 2%, and overall, it was a solid day heading into a very important event tomorrow.
Yeah, Mike, tomorrow is going to be huge, like you said. And we're going to have that CPI or the inflation report coming out tomorrow morning, guys. It is going to be very influential. We can see at the very top of my screen, 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, you're going to see the inflation rate year over year for August come out, along with the month over month numbers. Now, these are expected to show inflation falling back down a little bit. But if you look at the core inflation rate here, it is actually expected to go up by 0.2%, whereas the regular inflation rate is expected to fall by 0.4%. Now, the core inflation rate excludes food and energy. So a lot of people say that that's not a true, I guess, look at the inflation, because obviously food and energy are very influential on the economy. But nonetheless, these are the numbers that are expected. And Mike, we can see that the Feds right here on the CME Fed Watch tool, they are pricing in a 92% chance right now of a 75 basis point increase at the next FOMC meeting. So guys, watch this number tomorrow. You can go to cmegroup.com/trading/interest rates/countdown to FOMC and really see this. It's a really awesome tool. And tomorrow when those numbers come out, this percentage will probably change, and we will talk about it in tomorrow's video. So definitely be ready for that. It's going to be a huge event tomorrow, and hopefully the market can keep holding up strong.
Exactly. So basically, the reason this event is so important is because inflation has been out of control over the past couple years. And this is a really bad thing, because we really need inflation to slow down, or we're going to have some serious problems in the economy. So it's good that we're starting to see inflation slow down, but when you factor in food and energy, it's not slowing down enough. So tomorrow will be very important. 1 hour before open is when the data will be released.
Yeah, it's going to be a big event, Mike. And whenever I'm sitting here looking at the market for tomorrow, we had a very good day today on the SPY. We gapped up early on, and even at the end of the day, we came back up and retested the high of day right there, right around 411.75. And I will say the SPY is at a pretty big area of resistance right now. Looking at the 1 hour chart, we're sitting right on this resistance level from all the way back in August, guys. So it's a big level here. Hopefully we can break this back to the upside, and then the SPY might be able to push back up to maybe like 415 to 418 over the next couple of weeks. But it's going to be a big level, Mike. It's a big day tomorrow for the SPY and the markets. I will say, looking at some of these different analysts here, I noticed in a lot of these CNBC reports and a bunch of different articles I saw, a lot of analysts are very conflicted with what's going to happen here. So it's interesting. Guggenheim has a analyst here that says that we might see another 20% decline on the S&P from here to mid-October. But then we have a manual here with a different company, and he's pretty much saying that you could see the stocks go up and that there's a floor right here under stock. So analysts are all over the place regarding this event. Personally, Mike, I feel like the market might start to pop back up a little bit, especially if we do see inflation start to fall back down. But obviously, that's just my opinion. But I know everybody's going to have theirs. So throw it in the comments below. I cannot wait to see what everybody has to say.
You know it. So inflation reports are such interesting events to trade, because sometimes you can have great news and the stock market tanks down, and sometimes you can have some pretty bad signs with inflation and the stock market just blasts to the upside. So it's a tough event to trade. Obviously, it all depends on how the data comes in. I would like to think that if the data comes in basically close to expectations, the market should be relatively calm and have some decent upside potential. And then if we see a significant miss either to the upside or the downside with inflation, that's just situation dependent. But either way, we're set for a pretty big day tomorrow. Tom, let's check out the Bank of America article really quickly, because there was something pretty interesting in that. So we can see, if we scroll down just a tiny bit, that 29 out of the 34 major central banks are actually in a tightening phase right now. So it's like we're seeing inflation very high, and all of the major governments around the world are basically trying to slow everything down. And this isn't necessarily a bad thing, because it's better to have, slow growth or, even negative growth for a very short period of time rather than uncontrollable high inflation.
Yeah, and it's really interesting. I'm sitting here reading some of these quotes here by Bank of America, Mike, and I'm sitting here looking at like this analyst quote. They say, unfortunately, the policy setup is not conducive to a turnaround in growth prospects anytime soon. In fact, keeping in mind that Fed tightening cycles more often than not end in recessions, it is likely that things take a turn for the worse. And they're actually warning that we might go into a global type of recession if all these if all the central banks keep tightening the way they are, obviously so quickly. So it's definitely a pretty big thing, Mike. Like you said, 29 out of 34 central banks are tightening. That is a huge thing to look at here. And what's interesting, Mike, is we actually see the TNX is actually still going up here, which makes sense. But it is interesting just to see TNX rising. We see DXY, or the dollar, starting to fall down a little bit, and the SPY has been up this week. So just interesting to see some of those different data points there with the 10-year yields and, of course, the dollar.
Very true. So what else do we have going on?
Yeah, so we're going to have still some pretty big events coming up this week. I know the economic calendar obviously is going to be the main stuff tomorrow with CPI and everything like that, but we do still have some earnings later in the week. We have Adobe reporting on Thursday after close, so that's going to be a pretty big event. But other than that, Mike, the main thing is going to be the big CPI event coming up tomorrow. And I will say a lot of growth stocks had some amazing days today, Mike. Look at Asana today, up 16.42%. I know that we keep talking about this one because Dustin Moskovitz, an insider, recently bought a ton more shares, and he already has a ton of his own money into this stock. So it's interesting to see that one up. But look at that daily chart. It is getting so explosive. So watch some of these stocks for good momentum. Asana had a lot today. I know NEO had a pretty good day, along with Fubo and a lot of these other growth stocks. Even Peloton had a good day, and Apple itself almost hit 4%. So overall, amazing momentum. Hopefully the CPI can keep this up for us.
There we go. All right, well, Tom, let's just check the earnings for tomorrow. I know it's not a huge earnings week. It's kind of dead, to be honest, but we had Oracle after close today. And besides that, the only other major earnings play is Adobe on Thursday after close.
Yeah, exactly. That's going to be the only big one, really. Adobe at the end of the week. Oracle right now looks like a theta burner. Can't wait to see exactly what they report and what happens in the investors conference. But let's go check out Adobe real quick. Let's check out their daily chart. I know they actually had a pretty good day today, up in the green. Honestly, Mike, it looks like a pretty good pre-earnings run up here along with the rest of the market. So hopefully they can keep moving up positively into these earnings. I do see some nice resistance on Adobe up here around 410, and they're getting pretty close to 400. So that's a pretty big psychological level there.
There we go. And I also know there was some news with these chip stocks. So what's happening?
Yeah, pretty big here today, actually. So Biden's actually going to hit chip stocks with even more restrictions. So I know that we've talked about chip stocks like NVIDIA, AMD, and a couple more getting some restrictions with the Biden administration over the past couple weeks, where they pretty much are restricting some of these AI chips over to China. And now apparently they said that in October, they could add even more restrictions into this type of deal. So it's a very weird thing, Mike. Not all the details are out yet about it, but it definitely is going to affect NVIDIA, AMD, and a few companies like that. So keep them on the radar, guys. It's going to be a pretty big thing for these chip stocks. And I know it's something for national interest, so keep that in the back of your minds too. But it didn't really hurt NVIDIA too much today. NVIDIA was down a little bit early on, but it ended up closing quite well.
All right, there we go. Well, with that being said, let's get right into the momentum plays for tomorrow. With the first one, we have BABA to the upside.
Alibaba, yeah, it was nice to see the China plays moving back up. Go ahead and make them break above 94.85.
All righty. With the next one, we have WBD also to the upside.
Warner Bros. There we go. Go ahead and make them break above this intraday resistance around 13.35.
And with the last one, we have a good old GLD.
Gold. I love this one, Mike. Go ahead and make gold break out above a 161.
Sounds good. So we're watching GLD WBD, and BABA for potential day trades to the upside tomorrow, only if they break above the levels Tom listed. Before we move on, we have to give a giant shout out to today's member of the day, and that is Oxide in the Stocked Up Discord chat. Your activity has definitely been increasing lately, and you've been a great member of the chat, so definitely keep it up. It's awesome to have you in the chat. Huge shout out to Oxide. Besides that, Tom, do you have any favorite setups heading into tomorrow?
Yeah, I know you mentioned GLD, Mike. That play was on fire today in the Discord. Love to see that. And it was just nice to see gold kind of popping back up here, kind of heading up into this CPI event tomorrow. If the CPI data suggests that maybe inflation is back on the rise or something like that, I would not be surprised if gold ended up being a pretty good hedge for the market. So I'll really be watching that over the next couple days, along with oil and a few of these energy plays. I will say like ZOM, CVX, and Oxy all had pretty big moves this morning. So I will be watching them for a possible recovery back up as well. I know Oxy is one of my favorites ever since Warren Buffett has been watching it. So obviously it's had a lot of hype lately, but yeah, these energy plays I feel like could be pretty good here, especially with all the CPI craziness going on. It might be good to maybe explore some of these other sectors here this week. So just figured I'd throw that out there. I think it might be pretty good. But Mike, I know that GLD play was amazing today.
You know it. If you are looking for daily options alerts, check this out. Our bot today called out the GLD $160.50 strike call options at $1.47, and they popped all the way up to $1.84. So $147 to $184 in just a couple hours. If you're looking for those daily options alerts, definitely check out that first link in the description and the comments down below. Our bot is awesome. It did pretty great today, and it does even better a lot of days too. So definitely check it out. One of the best plays from last week was actually with Roku on Thursday that went from $178 up to $330 within the same day. If you don't like it, you can cancel it at any time. The bot's awesome, and it's definitely worth trying out at least for 1 month. And like I said, if you don't like it, you can cancel. So definitely check out that first link in the description and the comments down below for some awesome daily options trading alerts. Besides that, thank you guys so much for watching, and let's have an amazing week.